Hi, Karis Brown Malloy here. This is the second Starseed vlog. Today is August 18th, 2011, and I think I'm going to keep the same format that I've been using, which is first updating you on what's going on, secondly talking about some interesting things that have been coming up, and third talking about the actual point of the video. And this week the point of the video is talking about good versus bad aliens and what I understand to be true at this current level that I find myself at, which is always growing, but when I look back and see whether or not it's changed after my knowledge and understanding of things deepen, it never really has. It's just gotten more complex. So I am probably still at the kindergarten or first level for all I know. But anyway, let's get started. So these are the things that have been going on. Last week I had that speaking engagement at the Journey to Enlightenment Festival, and it was fantastic. It was so much fun. Everyone was wonderful. Thanks to all of you guys that could come, and it was a great time. This week we went down to Sperryville and we had 24 hours to find a place to live, and we did, which was fantastic because we had to come back for a musical review that I was in last night to benefit the American Cancer Society, which was, again, a lot of fun. I don't really sing anymore, so it's fun to sometimes get up and flex those muscles, especially when it's benefiting a good cause. So that's what's been going on. What's going to be going on is tomorrow I have a book signing in Tamaqua, and then Saturday I'm at the Holistic and New Age Expo in Tamaqua as well. So those are the fun things for this week. And the second thing I'd like to talk to you about is something that's come up this week, and it is basically my recommendation to everyone who sees, hears, or is in any way aware of me and the things that I say, that I'm not the be-all and end-all of knowledge. The things that I talk about in my videos and in my writings and my interviews are a little bit of these huge subjects. So if I'm talking about anything that resonates with you, either good or bad, go and research it yourself, because I'm not the only person talking about any of these things. So go do your own research, both external and internal research, and see what resonates and what comes through as true, because it's also the case that we're not always told the whole truth with just about anything. If you look at the official line, you can go back through basically all of Western history and probably histories from other parts of the world and learn the same thing. So it's a good idea to always check your resources both externally and internally and look at where they got that information too. What experiments are they talking about that have brought us to the current level of our scientific understanding? What's gone on politically to create structures as they currently are? So it's always good to question, and blind faith toward anything is always bad because you can get lied to. So just use me as a resource and as a jumping off point. I don't know everything about anything. So it's just a good idea to always keep your internal barometer open and healthy, and always have a healthy curiosity about everything. That said, we have a difference between logic and heart-centered knowledge. At this point we're moving more into heart-centered knowledge because, as you can see, all of the logic-based knowledge and all of the logic-based systems that exist on our world right now are kind of crumbling. And so the answer to that is still up in the air. Well, do we just create more logic-based systems? And do we just arbitrarily, blindly believe what we're told is true? And the answer is, it doesn't seem to make much sense to me. Because logic can't describe love. Logic can't describe how you know when someone's going to call you on the telephone and then they do. Logic can't describe why you know when a family member is injured or in need without any logical means of communication there. You just know. And that happens to a lot of people a lot of times. Logic is not the only way of gathering knowledge and information in our world, and there are other methods of gathering information that are just as important as logic. So now is the time to bring all these back together. So look at things through your heart. For instance, I don't even really know why I'm doing these videos. I'm doing them because my heart and my intuition kept yelling at me to do these videos. And so there really isn't a logical point for it. However, the people who are then resonating with my videos, and thank you so much to everyone who said such nice things and told me your stories as well, you guys are led by your heart too. So it's never logic with me, at least hardly ever. So that's something to think about as well. But now, on to the main point of the video, which is good versus bad aliens. So we have those that will put you deep into duality and tell you there's this war being fought. Before I get started with any of this, I'd like to say The truth, the real truth, is that we're all one. The real truth is we're all remembering our divine nature, which is we're all facets of the same gem, which is the divine presence that goes throughout the cosmos and all of the multiverses and the universe and all dimensional worlds and everything. Now, when you zoom back down, there are certain things that we're working on right now in our human incarnations, and it makes it easier to do this when we understand some of the landscape of where we currently are, also knowing that everything is just a reflection of the divine. So that's the real truth. But as far as what's happening in our little microcosm, right now, from what I understand, there are entities that exist that have been in power, which is really just who gets to tell people what to think about. Because all of us humans are these little generators of reality, but when we spend our time thinking about things, we create them, especially when they're emotionally based. So I'm going to come back to that in a second, but before I do, I'll say that there are entities alive around. Some of them are probably human. I'm sure they definitely are, some of them. Some of them are probably not. I'm sure there are some that aren't. And what they do is get actual sustenance, as if it were food or energy, startled me, from fear and from negative emotions. You probably know some people like this, some people who create dramas in their life and say they hate drama the whole time, but whenever a drama leaves, they'll create a new one without knowing they're creating it and acting like something happened to them the entire time. Well, it's kind of like that on a really zoomed out, bigger scale. And when we're always fed these things to make us fearful, make us worry, make us scared and angry and fighting against something else, then that's that energy to eat, to live off of, to sustain oneself on. And it's stolen energy. And the truth is, even those negative entities could still realize their divine nature because they are still divine. They're just playing a part in this current microcosm drama that we're playing out on Gaia right now. So that's something that's going on. And something else that's going on is a clear, manipulative campaign that tells us to be afraid of extraterrestrials. All you have to do is turn on the TV or go to the movie theater. There is almost always something about huge alien ships coming down and wreaking havoc on the planet. And my opinion of that is, now I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I have heard about a fake stage alien attack that might come. I don't really know. I don't have strong inclinations either way, or that strong information bringing me in either direction. But what I do know is that they've been around for a really long time, so why haven't they done that already if they're going to, when we, for instance, didn't even have guns at all that could fire back? I don't know. It could still happen. There might still be a fake or a real attack. I can't really say one way or the other because I don't know. But I will say that it's kind of strange that all of this stuff is happening as a lot of people are awakening to the extraterrestrial presence. And there are tons of people out there who have beneficial interactions with extraterrestrials. If you're watching this and you're one of them, leave a comment and say it, because those aren't the people who get the interviews and widely publicized interaction stories. Those aren't the people who movies get made about. The people who have that type of publicity and exposure are usually the ones saying scary things that happen, which do happen, but not necessarily in an exclusive way. In fact, not at all an exclusive way. I've only had positive experiences with extraterrestrials that I'm aware of, that I can recall. So that said, if you're dealing with people who are remembering their own divinity, and part of that is realizing that we're part of this greater community, and you train them to be afraid of the people who are going to come and say, yes, you are part of this community, get up, stop being slaves, stop being the type of people who feed others with your emotions, and the type of people who are never truly present and dealing with the present, because you're always either chewing on a problem or creating new ones by your worries and fears, and your mind's never here in the moment. Then that makes sense to why the people who feed off of the fear will tell you to be afraid of the ones who are going to tell you to arise up out of that fear and live for the divine purpose that we all serve. So that might explain some of the negative propaganda that's going around right now. When in doubt, use your own intuition and logic, both of them together. Trust your own heart field and your own emotions. Now, the heart can sometimes be mistaken for fear and for addiction. My heart's telling me to go do this thing that really isn't good for me, I'm just addicted to, or my heart's telling me to do this thing that's actually just avoiding something I don't want to happen. That's not really the same. And the more you experiment with the actual visual sensations of your heart field, the more you'll understand what's real and what isn't. So my advice to you is just to do that. to look at things and see what measures is true for you, not just in your logical mind, because that's only a piece of the truth. It's a very valuable tool, but it isn't the whole way that we're supposed to interact with the world that we live in. So just recall this, experiment with it yourself, do your own research, see what happens. And other than that, keep shining your lights. Remember that we don't need to proselytize, we don't need to convert anyone to what we believe. All we need to do is be as truly ourselves as we can, and we will spread out like shockwaves, because whenever you see someone who's full of light and joy, then the universe is more full of light and joy for you. So every time you're more yourself and you're more present and you're more loving and serene and full of the delight that is also able to happen in this world that we live in, even when things are bleak looking, then the more you're spreading that, and it's going to come back around to you, because we are reflecting back what we send out at all times in our world. So anyway, go in peace. I hope you have a great week, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.